Let me ask you something. Have you ever lain awake at night replaying her words, her smile, her silence, wondering why she pulled away when you thought everything was going right? Every man has that one story, that one woman who slipped through his fingers. And the pain doesn't come from losing her, it comes from not knowing why. Here's the truth most men never realize until it's too late. Women don't fall in love by chance. They fall in love through a secret sequence of emotional triggers, stages, hidden deep inside their psychology. If you miss just one of these invisible stages, she may laugh with you, kiss you, even stay by your side for a while, but she will never truly give you her heart. Now here's the terrifying part. Women will never explain these stages to you. They expect you to know them, to feel them, to master them. And if you don't, she quietly moves on without a single explanation, leaving you with endless questions and a scar that can last a lifetime. But today that ends. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how women fall in love step by step, in ways they'll never admit out loud but live by every single day. If you leave now, you'll keep repeating the same heartbreak cycle. But if you stay till the very end, you'll hold in your hands the truth that separates the man she forgets from the man she never lets go. So I dare you, watch this till the last second. Because once you hear this, love will never feel confusing again. Stage 1, the spark of curiosity. Every single love story you've ever heard, whether it's in the streets of London, a quiet cafe in Oxford, or a park in New York, starts with something so small it almost feels invisible. Women don't suddenly fall in love like in fairy tales. They start with curiosity. That first spark is not about love, it's about wonder. Imagine this, a young woman, let's say Emily, is sitting in a busy cafe in Manchester. She's sipping her flat white, scrolling through her emails, and completely lost in her world. Dozens of people are around her, students, businessmen, tourists, but nobody catches her attention. Then suddenly a man walks in, not the loudest in the room, not the most handsome by Hollywood standards, but something about him feels different. He doesn't rush, doesn't fumble, doesn't seek validation. He carries himself like his life already has meaning. He orders his coffee politely, thanks the barista with genuine eye contact, and sits down calmly with a book. Emily notices him, not because he tried to show off, but because he didn't. A silent question arises in her mind. Who is he? That question, that tiny seed, is the first step toward love. For women, attraction doesn't begin with grand gestures. It begins with curiosity. It's like flipping the first domino. Once that's done, everything else can follow. Now here's where most men fail. Many try to jump directly into attraction. They chase, they brag, they overshare, hoping to impress her into liking them. But this kills curiosity instantly. Why? Because curiosity thrives on mystery. If she already knows everything about you in 5 minutes, her mind doesn't need to linger on you. You've given away the puzzle before she even wanted to solve it. A woman's curiosity is her first emotional investment. She starts to notice your little details. How you laugh, how you stand, the calm way you reply instead of rushing into nervous chatter. And if you pass this stage, you're not just another guy in the room. You've become the one who sparked her inner question. Let's take another example. Imagine a girl in Cambridge, walking across the bridge, books in her hand. She sees dozens of boys on campus every day. Most are loud, trying too hard to be noticed. But one guy stands by the side, headphones in, sketching something in his notebook. He doesn't even notice her. She wonders, what's he drawing? Why isn't he like the others? That wonder becomes curiosity. And curiosity, my friend, is the entry point into her emotional world. Here's the Stoic truth. The man who does not beg for attention but simply is, creates attention, naturally. A woman's heart doesn't chase the one who shouts the loudest. It chases the one who makes her wonder in silence. And here's the key. Curiosity doesn't mean she loves you yet. It means she opened the door in her mind to think about you when you're not there. That tiny mental space is where love can grow. Without curiosity, love cannot even begin. Stage 2, the emotional trigger. But let's be clear. Curiosity alone doesn't make her fall in love. She can be curious about dozens of men. Some she'll forget by tomorrow. What transforms curiosity into attraction is what I call the emotional trigger. Think about this carefully. Women don't fall in love because of logic. They fall in love when a man makes them feel. It's not about what you say, it's about what you awaken in her. Picture this. Anna, a girl from Brighton, just finished a stressful day at work. She meets a friend at a small bar near the pier. Her friend brings along a colleague, James. At first, Anna barely pays attention. She's polite but distant. James doesn't push, doesn't boast. He listens. He asks about her day in a genuine way. Then at some point, he cracks a joke so perfectly timed. She bursts into laughter, real, belly-deep laughter she hadn't felt in weeks. In that moment, something shifts inside her. She's no longer just curious. She feels lighter around him. She associates him with relief, joy, and warmth. That right there is an emotional trigger. But it doesn't always have to be laughter. Sometimes it's safety. Imagine walking through a busy London street at night. A woman feels a bit nervous with the noise, the traffic, the chaos. You, without saying much, guide her across the road with steady calmness, creating a shield between her and the rushing cars. That one action plants something powerful in her psychology. I feel safe with him. Other times, the trigger is depth. Maybe you're talking to her about life, not surface-level nonsense, but real things. Your vision, your struggles, your lessons. Suddenly, she sees you as someone who isn't just charming but human. That emotional spark builds intimacy. Here's the science behind it. The female brain connects feelings to memory far more strongly than men's. When you trigger an emotion in her, whether it's joy, safety, excitement, or depth, you're etching yourself into her memory, and memory is the soil where love grows. Now let's flip the coin. Imagine a man who sparks curiosity but fails to trigger emotion. He's mysterious, yes, but cold. She might think about him for a day or two, but if he never makes her feel, he becomes forgettable. The emotion is the fire that turns intrigue into attachment. Here's the golden rule. A man doesn't need to make her feel everything. He only needs to make her feel something she doesn't feel with others. That uniqueness becomes the bond. Take one more example. Sarah, living in a small English town, meets two men. One is good-looking but talks endlessly about himself. She leaves that conversation empty. The other isn't trying to impress. He shares a funny childhood story about falling in the mud. During a football game, she laughs, but more importantly, she feels like she knows him better. Guess who she'll think about later? The one who made her feel. Curiosity opens the door, but emotion walks her inside. And once she steps in emotionally, she's on the path where love can grow deeper and deeper. Stage 3, the connection of trust. Once curiosity and emotion have been triggered, something deeper must happen or else the attraction fades. That next stage is trust. Without trust, no woman can truly fall in love. She might flirt, she might enjoy your presence, but she won't let you close to her heart. Let's take an example. Imagine a young woman in London named Sophie. She meets a guy, Daniel, at a friend's dinner party. At first, he sparks her curiosity because he's calm, collected, and not desperate for attention. Then, over conversation, he makes her laugh, creating that emotional spark. But here's the real test. Does she feel safe with him? Does she feel like she can let her guard down without being judged or hurt? Women in English counties, whether in Manchester, Liverpool, or Cambridge, carry layers of defenses. Society has taught them to be cautious, because attention from men can sometimes be shallow or manipulative. So when a man earns her trust, it feels rare, almost sacred. And trust is never built by fancy words. It's built by consistent actions. Think of it like this. Sophie notices small things Daniel does. He listens without interrupting. When she shares something vulnerable like a past heartbreak, he doesn't mock or minimize it. He respects her boundaries, not pushing too fast, not trying to force intimacy. These little signals tell her, I can trust this man. Trust works like a bridge. Without it, there's no safe passage into her deeper emotions. Many men lose women here because they break trust too early. Maybe they lie about small things or they try to play games, thinking manipulation will make her chase them. But women are intuitive. They notice patterns. And once trust is broken, love cannot survive. Now, let's bring in Stoicism here. A Stoic man doesn't overpromise. He doesn't pretend to be something he's not. His consistency is his power. Women find this deeply attractive because it creates stability in a world full of chaos. Imagine Sarah from Oxford. She's dated men who ghosted her. Men who told her what she wanted to hear but never followed through. Then she meets one man who always keeps his word, even in small things like showing up on time or remembering something she mentioned. To her, that consistency feels like gold, and that gold is called trust. Here's the truth. A woman will not let herself fall fully in love unless she feels emotionally safe. And safety doesn't mean weakness, it means you've shown her that your masculinity isn't a threat but a shield. Trust is what transforms emotional sparks into lasting fire. Stage 4. The bond of vulnerability. Now, once trust has been built, something magical happens, something that most men never get to experience. A woman begins to open her soul. This stage is called vulnerability. At this point, she doesn't just laugh at your jokes or enjoy your presence, she begins to reveal. She shows you the parts of herself that she doesn't show to anyone else. And when that happens, you know she is falling in love. Take, for instance, a girl in Brighton named Olivia. She's independent, confident, and on the surface, she seems unshakable. Most men only ever see her strong side, the witty remarks, the stylish outfits, the career ambition. But with the man she trusts, a different Olivia appears. She shares childhood stories. She admits fears she usually hides. She lets him see her without makeup, in moments of raw honesty. That's vulnerability, and it's not weakness. It's the ultimate gift a woman gives when she loves. Why is this stage so important? Because love without vulnerability is just attraction. It doesn't last. Vulnerability means she has given you a part of her heart, trusting you not to break it. And here's the secret. When she opens up, she's also watching how you respond. If you mock her, dismiss her, or use her vulnerability against her, she will shut down forever. But if you honor it, if you hold space for it, her love for you deepens beyond logic. Here's a story. A woman in Leeds, Charlotte, once told me she knew she was in love with her partner when she cried in front of him for the first time, and instead of telling her to calm down or brushing it off, he simply sat with her in silence, holding her hand. That moment sealed her love. Why? Because he proved he could handle her rawest emotions without running away. Vulnerability works both ways. Many men think showing emotions makes them weak, but in reality, it builds connection. When you, as a man, share parts of yourself honestly, not oversharing for sympathy, but sharing authentically, you invite her into your world. That's when love grows deeper, because she feels like she's not just in your life, but inside your heart. In English counties, whether it's a girl in York walking by the cathedral, or one in Bristol balancing studies and part-time work, women carry invisible burdens. The man who allows them to set those burdens down, even briefly, becomes unforgettable. And once vulnerability is shared, the bond becomes something unshakable. Here's the Stoic angle. Vulnerability doesn't mean losing control. It means mastering the courage to be real. A Stoic man is not an emotionless stone. He's a man who can embrace his emotions without being controlled by them. That balance makes a woman feel not just loved, but understood. Stage 5, the deepening of emotional intimacy. Once a woman has trusted you and shared her vulnerability, the bond begins to take root in a way that goes far beyond attraction. This stage is called emotional intimacy, and it's the point where many men either rise into her heart or fall away because they don't know how to nurture it. Let's take an example. Imagine Emily, a young woman living in Cambridge. She's been dating James for a few months. At first, she was curious about him. Then she felt sparks of emotion. Slowly, through his consistency, he built trust. She even opened up about how her parents' divorce in Manchester shaped her views on relationships. James didn't dismiss it. He listened. Now something bigger is happening. She is not just liking him. She is beginning to feel bonded. Emotional intimacy is not about constant romance or dramatic passion. It's about the feeling that this person sees you. Women in places like London, Liverpool, or York are surrounded by men who may notice their looks but rarely notice their soul. When a man notices the subtle things, a change in tone, a hidden worry, a quiet smile, it creates a connection that feels rare and priceless. Here's the psychology. When emotional intimacy develops, the brain begins releasing oxytocin, the bonding hormone. That's why women who feel truly emotionally connected will start associating a man with comfort, safety, and home. It's not manipulation. It's biology. But here's the catch. Emotional intimacy must be genuine. If it's faked, women sense it instantly. Think of Sophie in Brighton. She's independent, loves her career, and often hides behind humor. Most men only laugh along with her jokes. But one man, Alex, notices that sometimes her humor covers stress. Instead of ignoring it, he gently asks, "Are you really okay?" That moment, small as it is, deepens intimacy. She feels understood, and that understanding becomes a foundation for love. Emotional intimacy is also about shared experiences. It's the late-night walk by the Thames in London when you talk about your dreams. It's cooking together in a small Oxford flat and laughing at mistakes. These experiences weave into her memory, anchoring you as not just a man she dates, but a man she belongs with. Now here's where Stoicism enters. A Stoic man doesn't panic when emotions rise. He doesn't fear intimacy because he's grounded in himself. Women respect this because emotional intimacy requires courage to stay present when things get messy, to listen when it's uncomfortable, and to be steady when she feels unsteady. When emotional intimacy deepens, love transforms from surface attraction into something unshakable. She no longer wonders if you're temporary. She begins to imagine you as permanent. And that, my brother, is the power of stage 5. Stage 6, the decision of commitment. Finally, we arrive at the stage where everything a woman has felt, curiosity, trust, vulnerability, intimacy, leads her to one crucial point: commitment. This is where she decides, consciously or unconsciously, this is the man I want to give my love to fully. Let's picture Olivia from London. She has dated different men over the years, some charming, some exciting but none lasting. Then after months of building with one man, she finds herself realizing something unusual. She no longer wants to look elsewhere. She no longer wants attention from random strangers at pubs in Manchester or flirty messages on Instagram. Why? Because her heart has chosen. That's commitment. But here's what many men misunderstand. Commitment isn't about forcing her into a label or pressuring her into exclusivity. Women don't fall in love because of ultimatums. They fall in love because they feel safe choosing you. When she reaches this stage, she isn't thinking, should I stay, should I go? She feels, I've already found what I need. Let's take Charlotte in Oxford. She once told her friends that she knew her partner was the one, not because of a single grand gesture, but because of countless small ones. He remembered her favorite tea. He supported her career goals. He made her laugh on hard days. And above all, he stayed consistent. That consistency told her, this is where I want to plant my love. Here's the deeper psychology. Women are wired for selective commitment. Their biology and emotions push them to invest deeply but carefully. When a man embodies strength, trustworthiness, and emotional connection, her subconscious says, he's worthy of my future. And once that decision is made, her loyalty often runs deeper than most men realize. Commitment doesn't mean the end of attraction. It means the beginning of stability. Think of Sarah in Leeds. She once dated men who made her feel like she had to constantly compete for their attention. But with her current partner, she doesn't feel insecure. She feels chosen. That feeling of being chosen is what makes women stay, nurture, and give everything they have. Now here's where Stoicism plays the final role. A Stoic man doesn't beg for commitment. He doesn't chase validation. Instead, he focuses on embodying virtues, strength, wisdom, calmness, and integrity. That very presence inspires a woman to commit without him ever needing to demand it. Commitment flows naturally because she feels both secure and inspired. When a woman reaches this stage, her love is no longer fragile. It's not just sparks or butterflies, it's a steady flame. She has decided, not out of pressure, but out of clarity, this is my man. And when you've reached that point, you haven't just made her fall in love, you've made her stay in love. Stage 7, the test of consistency. Falling in love isn't just about passion, trust, or emotional intimacy. A woman may feel all of these things, but before her heart fully seals the deal, there comes an unspoken stage, the test of consistency. Let's imagine Chloe from Bristol. She's been with a man for 6 months. He makes her laugh, he's affectionate, he listens. But over time, Chloe begins to notice. Does his effort remain steady? Or was it only strong at the beginning? This stage is subtle but powerful, because women instinctively look for long-term reliability. Here's the psychology. Women are naturally attuned to patterns. If a man showers her with attention only at first, but slowly fades, she'll feel her initial trust breaking. But if a man continues showing up with steady energy, texts, calls, thoughtful gestures, emotional presence, she feels a deepening sense of security. That's why consistency often outweighs charm. Think of Rachel in Liverpool. At the start of her relationship, her boyfriend Tom was always planning exciting dates, fancy restaurants, drives to the Lake District, big surprises. But after a while, the grand gestures stopped. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't consistent. Rachel realized that consistency mattered more than occasional intensity. Women like Rachel don't want fireworks that burn out. They want a steady flame. Now let's consider Sophie in London. She didn't need expensive dinners or dramatic declarations. She valued consistency, him remembering her big exam at university, calling when he said he would, being present even on her worst days. That's what made her fall deeper. A Stoic man understands this stage well, because Stoicism teaches that greatness is found not in bursts of effort, but in steady practice. Just like a philosopher trains his mind daily, a man proves love through daily acts, not empty promises. Women sense this calm reliability, and it builds unshakable trust. Consistency also means emotional steadiness. If a man is unpredictable, calm one day, aggressive the next, women feel unsafe. But if he maintains emotional balance like a true Stoic, she sees him as a rock in a chaotic world. And here's the secret. When she feels you are consistent, she unconsciously relaxes, allowing her love to deepen without fear. So stage 7, the test of consistency, is the bridge between attraction and forever. Fail it and love fades. Pass it and she not only loves you, she stays with you. Stage 8, the fulfillment of love. At last we reach the final stage, the fulfillment of love. This is the point where all the earlier steps, curiosity, trust, intimacy, commitment, and consistency, come together into a complete picture. This is not the stage of falling anymore. It's the stage of being in love. Picture Eleanor from Oxford. She once told her friends that she knew she had reached fulfillment when she realized her partner wasn't just her boyfriend, he was her home. Whether they were in a busy London cafe or walking hand in hand through quiet Yorkshire countryside, she felt the same peace. This is where I belong. Fulfillment of love is about deep security. It's when a woman no longer questions his intentions. She no longer wonders, is he serious? Does he really care? Will he leave? Instead, she feels an inner calm, like she has finally arrived at the destination she was searching for. But fulfillment is not about perfection. No couple is perfect. Instead, it's about acceptance. Women in places like Manchester or Newcastle often say that they knew they were truly in love when they stopped needing the other person to be flawless. Instead, they saw their flaws, accepted them, and loved them anyway. That's real fulfillment. Here's where Stoic philosophy ties in powerfully. A Stoic man doesn't seek control over love. He doesn't fear losing it or obsess over it. He appreciates it fully, yet remains centered within himself. And that very balance makes women trust him even more. Why? Because she knows his love is not born from desperation, it's born from choice. Take Amelia in Cambridge. She explained that her partner made her feel fulfilled, not because he gave her constant attention, but because his presence made her feel safe. He had his own purpose, his own drive, his own calmness, yet he chose to share it with her. That choice, freely given, was what made her feel fulfilled. Fulfillment is also about growth. True love doesn't stagnate. It expands. Women in fulfilling relationships often describe feeling like they are better with their partner, not weaker, whether it's supporting her career, encouraging her hobbies, or helping her stay calm in tough moments. Fulfillment comes when love becomes a source of strength, not stress. And here's the secret most men miss. When a woman feels fulfilled, she gives back tenfold. Her loyalty, care, and affection amplify. She invests her energy because she feels safe investing it. Fulfillment transforms love into something enduring, something that survives challenges, long distances, and even hardships. So stage 8, the fulfillment of love, is not the end of the journey. It's the beginning of something lasting. It's where passion meets peace and where love finally becomes home. Conclusion. So now you know the psychology of how women fall in love isn't a mystery anymore. It's a journey. Curiosity, emotion, exclusivity, consistency, bonding, fear of loss, commitment, and finally unconditional love. But here's the truth. Not every man will take her through all these stages. Most will lose her attention in the beginning. Some will fail the test of consistency. Others will never create that bond. But if you do, if you live with strength, calmness, and authenticity, you'll not only understand how women fall in love, you'll experience a love that lasts a lifetime. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.